The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live. Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
Today is Monday, February 16th, 2026. Here on the Carolina Cabinet this evening, we're going to welcome Representative Diane Wheatley, and we'll be right back. The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live from the radio studios of WFAY and WMRV. Andrelonis Media presents Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio.
Well, everybody, good evening and welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm your host, Peter Pappas, in studio with Mrs. Laura Musler.
Hello, hello.
And welcoming Ms. Diane Wheatley, NC House 43.
Hello.
Good to see you. So here at the Cabinet, we know we are the smartest hour of radio. Our job is to give a voice to the conservatives of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and beyond. And those of you watching and tuning in, thanks a lot. Please like, share, and follow. So with that, good evening, everyone, ladies.
Good evening.
I guess the music needs to go down.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good, though.
I was going to say we can rock out the whole time.
We sure
if you want.
can.
Just stand here and sit here and dance.
We're joining us this evening in our newly rearranged studio. It wouldn't be the Carolina Cabinet if we weren't stressing 20 minutes before we went live.
We were pretty well put together today.
Yeah. Well, I've been a wreck all day, so
Well, that's every day.
I was a little neurotic today.
We have a lot going on.
We do. So, do you see all the stuff you're supposed to see, Laura? You want to see chat?
I'd like to see chat.
Okay.
So if somebody joins in, that would be great.
There we go. I think Bambi's there. Bambi's joining us.
Hello, Bambi.
Good to see you. Good to see you this evening. Don't you have a board meeting to get to this evening in Hope Mills? Well, we'll see. So, Laura, what you been up to lately? Busy weekend? Upset anybody?
I always upset somebody somewhere. But just went out to the polls and bringing waters and candy and stuff like that for all the poll workers, regardless of party. I gave it out equally. Gotten a little yelling match with, well, I didn't really yell. But
is that considered support and party disloyalty if you give a Democrat a bottle of water?
I don't really care.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but they're volunteers, whether they're volunteers for us. And how else can we bring people over to our party if we're not kind to them and generous?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because I have the face of a sandwich maker. But whenever I was out at those polls, the Democrat dudes took pity on me and helped me out and helped me put my tent and everything because I'm a little guy. Well, I couldn't reach that high anyway. So
when I was out working the polls when I ran, we would we all worked together and got shared meals and stuff like that. So the whole left versus right thing is not necessarily a local thing. It's more of a media thing.
It's a community thing when you go out there and you're working the polls, without my stripper heels, and you just get to you're talking to people that you maybe just don't normally talk to.
That's right.
And you get to see that we're all looking for a good living.
That's
to take care of our families, and no matter what color shirt you wear, red or blue, we just want to move it ahead.
Hey, I'm wearing a blue shirt today. What does that mean?
Hey,
and so is Ms. Wheatley. What does that mean?
Well, you guys mine's blue, like a check mark or something.
Yeah, that's true.
We all called them. We got together today.
I know, kidding.
3 days of red for Valentine's, and then all the things yesterday still red. So they were all at the dry cleaners.
I wore pink. I
Did
didn't
you wear
wear
pink?
Yeah, pink. I got accused of wearing the same sweatshirt 2 days in a row.
So you ladies are married. Flowers, candy, date out in the town. What was the Valentine's Day like for y'all?
I am so excited. I got the best Valentine's Day gift ever. I got a new washing machine.
Excellent. Excellent.
I just got the old box of good chocolate.
Oh, the good chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we went to church to two churches, one on Valentine's Day to a Valentine's Sweetheart Banquet. And then last night we were at Northwood, where I go to church, and we had a friendship banquet. So, yeah.
I was there like 2 years ago, wasn't I?
You were my
Yeah,
guest
that was
a couple
nice.
years ago.
Wow, time flies.
They're full there. They have a huge church.
It's a good church. It's
everybody was very, very friendly.
They still are, and just a good place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I like most churches I go to. I haven't really been to any. I didn't really get into the movement and what was going on.
Well, it's kind of like pizza. You really never have bad pizza, so I don't think there should be a bad
I've
church.
had bad pizza.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah,
I
haven't. Me either.
I haven't. I haven't met one I didn't like.
Me either.
So let's see. We had Athenian Night last weekend with the Greek church, which is usually in a political season pretty well attended. What did you think, Diane? Did you go?
It was full. I did go. It was full. The food was great. The Greek dancing is fun, and the belly dancers are entertaining for some folks. And anyway, it was just
Did you see anybody covering their eyes? Like,
nobody.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
Nobody. But they're very talented. So.
Okay. See a lot of electeds or just people you just knew?
Oh, no. There were a lot of judges there and running. And I saw Pavan Patel, one of the commissioners, and
That's the only one you saw, because he should have been selling tickets for everybody.
Well, he didn't. It was just Pavan.
And he should have been buying a whole table. I'm going to get it with Pavan and find out
why. He may have had a whole table.
He might have. I hope so.
Let him save his money. We're going to be hitting him and Henry up for the young Republicans. So let him save his money, because we're coming.
Okay.
Yep, we're.
And,
I'm going to be schooling them tonight on how to get money for events and things like that.
Oh wait, we do have a Young Republicans meeting tonight at Cadillac Ranch, right?
That's correct.
7 p.m.
I will be there, and I'm not as young as they are.
I was going to say, I think I've aged out of the young.
Yeah.
I think it starts at 6:30, but I'm not going to be there until we're done here. Okay. And I love
think it starts at 7.
Is it really?
I'm not
well,
sure.
You would know. You live with one of the people.
She has a very strict
wait a minute,
calendar.
I live with one of them too. So
yeah, you do. Yeah, we're blessed. We get our children and our grandchildren all involved.
That's right.
Absolutely. So Athenian Night, and then early voting did start last Thursday.
It did.
Before we came on the show, I checked. As of Sunday, the 15th, only 2,768 people have voted. Now we have how many registered voters in Cumberland County?
I didn't look that up, but I mean,
there's it's 200,000.
Yeah,
it's a bunch.
It's
there's 81,000 in my in my district.
It's about 200,000. I think it breaks down.
I thought it was like 212,000. So we're like at less than. I mean, we're at like 1%.
Generally, the breakdown last time I looked is about 150,000 between Democrat and unaffiliateds, and then the Republicans are about 50,000 in the county. So it's about 200, floats up and down. But I think the Republicans are edging out a little bit with the registrations.
Perhaps. I think they are in other places.
They are in the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are officially a red state now.
Yes, we are. But I think it's incumbent on the GOP of Cumberland County and other organizations. We need to make our message heard, and make it the other side understand that we got a good deal going on. We want the best for our families, and we think there's something for everybody. So hopefully our GOP can get that message out and drive them to the polls.
And bring people in to the fold, knowing that we're the party that cares, and that we're taking care of each other, and that we understand community and what we're supposed to do for each other.
Well, and personally, not all of us are Donald Trump. So, you can, if you don't like the president, check with your local friendly Republicans. We're sitting right here at this table. So, early voting, and then let's see, what next? What else? Come on. There's got to be something else.
Nothing
what did I
for
miss?
Me. Nothing for me.
Okay. Oh, and
I'm talk grandchildren.
I'm being outed on Facebook. Thank you, Kelly, for that. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it is. It's happy birthday, Peter. It is Peter's birthday. Yes. We celebrated with cake. First thing this morning, I came in with cake.
Yep,
it was good too.
So yesterday, I went to friends. We call it the Redneckistan. It's like half a dozen of my friends that live nearby each other in Cameron, and when I walked in, as soon as I walked in, they're singing happy birthday. They know that kind of embarrassed. I'm not that guy. Like I don't, but we did have a good ice cream cake yesterday too. And it happened to be the exact same cake that you brought.
Because that cake is good.
It's
the Carvel. It's the Carvel ice cream cake. It's got chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and some weird kind of rolly ball cake stuff
something.
that is so good.
It was very good and very appreciated. I really do appreciate you doing that, Laura, for me.
I'm a nice person, but don't tell anybody.
Yesterday was Friends and Peter stories, which can't be said on air. And we did 90s and 2000s music trivia.
Oh, how fun.
Like a deck of cards. It was eye-opening how far back our music knowledge goes. I guess we're getting old.
Look at Christian says happy birthday to you too.
Oh, hey Christian. So all right, Ms. Wheatley.
Yes.
Tell us about you and what have you, just tell us what you're running for and what you're doing. Go ahead.
Well, she's the incumbent.
You're the incumbent.
Yes.
Yeah, I have been here in Cumberland County since I was about 13 years old. My dad was a soldier at Special Forces, and I met a local man who had a business. He had Wheatley Motors, and married him, and I went to nursing school here at Fayetteville Technical Community College, and then after that I attended Methodist University and went into nursing at Cape Fear Valley Hospital. I actually worked in the emergency department there, and later sought a daytime job, which is hard to get when you're a nurse. But I managed to get into the recovery room for a little while before I decided, I think I want to be an intensive care nurse, and did that over at there. And then I thought, well, we got to have babies. So I went to work at the children's clinic, and I learned a lot about pediatrics.
Okay.
But during that time, I decided, we need to be doing something with our children, because my husband was a contractor up and down the East Coast running school buses for the military, different branches of the service. And, his every day was to get children to and from school safely. Mm-hmm. And after he had been in business for a while, and he offered me a job because he had an opening, and he said, would you like to be my contract manager? And I went to work for him, learned a lot about government contracting, even eventually started my own corporation and bid contracts. A lot of people don't know that, and was very successful in that. And but during that time, I had a need to go into a little bit more involvement with my children and their education, because I was very concerned. I ran for the Board of Education. I served I was elected for 3 terms. We had the, building schools. That's been almost 28 years ago. And if you'll look around,
so you were 2?
I was at least 3.
Okay.
But it was, but I was fairly young for the Board of Education back then, but bought a lot of good experience.
Was that maybe the time period maybe we got our last school built of Jack Britt?
Yeah, that was it.
Was that the last one that's been built?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And
well, everybody considers Jack Britt the new school. And it's like 30 years old.
Almost 30 years old. And but we did the right thing at the time for the county, because our school buildings were over 100 years old, some of them, and we still have some of those buildings.
Yeah, but see, the ones that are 100 years old, they were built to last, and they're just now wanting to shut some of them down.
Yeah.
But the schools that were built in the 60s and 70s are just, I'm sorry, they're falling apart.
And they had all the flat roofs that we dealt with. And I learned a lot about construction and architecture. But after being on the school board for the 10 years that I was there, I decided, other parents need to run for this. This isn't where I believe in term limits. I don't think you should stay too long, and other people can do this public service just as well as I can. Maybe not always with your background and your experience, but they needed, and the parents need to stay involved. So then I thought, well, I'll run for commissioners, because I wanted the other end of the funding that was needed in the county, and the schools is part of the county commissioner's responsibility.
Well, how much does the county commission? So to my knowledge, school board kind of comes up with a budget, and they just kind of go to the commission and say, we need this much.
That's right.
The commission doesn't really have much say, and
they don't have to give it to them.
They don't have to give it to them, but they don't get to say, maybe drop this, do that.
Well, actually, what they can say is, we're only going to give you $1 million and good luck with that.
Gotcha.
So, or they can, this the county commissioners have actually agreed to give the schools a nice amount of funding that hopefully will help with a lot of the repairs that have been, again,
they're only
left undone.
800 and like 10 million behind. I mean, that's only almost $1 billion we're behind on repairs.
It's a lot, and so it has to be done. But I found the commissioner's seat very rewarding and interesting, because you deal with not only the schools, but the hospital, the health department, the sheriff's department, social services, and there were 33 different agencies that we dealt with. So I learned a lot about government, not just schools, while I was a commissioner. And then my mother contracted Alzheimer's, and I took a sabbatical from politics altogether, never thinking I would be at the State House, and then decided.
Well, let's talk about commission one more time. What was when you were a sitting commissioner, were you district or at large back then?
I was district.
Okay. So you were a district commissioner, and how closely or how important was the relationship with the delegation we have on Jones Street in Raleigh, like with our state senators and state representatives, the seat you hold now? How important was it as a commissioner for you to have a good relationship and have somebody that knows what the hell they're doing in Raleigh?
Well, it's very important when it comes to bringing those state dollars back to the community. And if you need any kind of a charter change, or you need a bill that's going to specifically point out some funding, or needing some extra funding for water and sewer, there's just a lot that is involved that the commissioners.
So like as a commissioner, if you hit a wall with regulation, then you get to say, hey, state senator or state house rep, I need help. And then you can maybe try and get that done. And then we've done a lot of really good things with our county commissioners over the last 6 years. Anything come to mind? Anything jump out at you? Well, the biggest thing was the funding for infrastructure and the arts, the different parks and rec bills. Talk about the water. So important around here with the PFAS and all that stuff. Last year, or was it in 24, I believe, is when they announced I think it was J.D. Pone. I think it was out there in Grace Creek. They announced bringing in the water pipe. And a lot of the opposite delegation voted against that. They did. So they didn't vote for the budget. So the money that went to PWC, they voted against it. So, right. But my personal ask was for the money to extend the pipes from there on, I believe that's 87 all the way to School Road. And I just got my picture with Senator McGinnis, where they're finally laying the pipe. And that's been a year and a half. Yeah. And they're actually.
I love it when our elected officials are laying pipe.
Yeah. I wish I could have, because I kept saying, where are the pipes? Where is the water? We got you the money. And the whole thing was, we had schools down there that the kids were not only drinking it, but they're bathing in it at home. And it's like there was no escape from PFAS for these kids. And now we have fresh water filtered water, at least controlled water from PWC going to the school, and also to the surrounding anybody that probably wants to tie in will get to. But it was something that Grace Creek community had advocated for and needed, and we were very happy to, especially this state rep, to be able to obtain the funding that would finally get that done. A lot of red tape, the regulations, and they finally got through them. You think you're getting the funding and it'll be there, and then you find out there's more government
red tape.
Yeah, but it's done, and they are laying those pipes.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
We're real excited about that, and hopefully with our commissioners, that will eventually, and it seems as if we can look at county-wide water and sewer. That's how we're going to grow. Yeah,
that's true.
Well, that's Laura and I went to the. It was at Fayetteville Economic Development.
Yep.
We invited ourselves.
We sure did.
I did not know, in all due respect, you had to register for that event. I just thought I was going to walk in like myself. And anyway, so we got in, and the big concern was the
Data
stress
centers.
on our utilities and the data centers coming here and how voraciously hungry they are for our water and our power. So,
are we nerds or what? That's what we do in our spare time. We go to economic development meetings.
Well, my husband always says, "What meeting are you going to tonight?"
Right.
Because he only goes on occasion if he has to.
Oh, I do want to point out that you worked for your husband, but now Turnabout's Fair Play.
Yes.
Because now he is your right hand.
He is.
Is his legislative director?
Assistant.
Or assistant. Okay.
He
He's
takes
your LA.
care of my office. Okay. And he also drives me to Raleigh. When I don't drive myself, he doesn't go all the time. But when he is there, he gets to do the driving so I can work. And you have a lot of work. You get to read a lot. I really should have my glasses on because I started wearing those since I got elected to the State House.
Well, you guys make a hell of a team. It's a very warm welcome when we visit Jones
Every
Street
time.
up there.
Yep.
So, and it's nice, it's just, I find it very darling that y'all are somehow able to work together and be married at the same time. So
yeah, a lot of people have a hard time with that, but I worked for my husband for 25 years and he's only worked for me for 5. So
he's got 20 more to go.
He's got to learn something. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he seems trainable. I think you got him, pretty well trained.
He's a very intelligent man and very humble. So,
he is.
He did say it was my turn. And that's charming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, there was something that you did for the veterans and the cemeteries. Tell us about that, because a lot of people say, "Oh, veteran approved" or whatever. What did you do for the veterans and the cemetery and stuff? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. I went to a meeting when I would listen to the local radio stations on the way home from Raleigh, and I heard about a meeting with veterans and their about the cemetery and how unhappy they were. Well, that's not in my district, but that doesn't matter.
Say that again. Say that again.
What's that?
It wasn't in your district.
And
it wasn't under your purview in Raleigh, and
No.
it's not something that they sent you to.
No.
Okay.
I heard it on the radio. So I said to my husband, I said, let's go see what's wrong. And I said, and my dad was military, of course. I found it interesting. And we went to the meeting and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs was there from Raleigh. I didn't even know he was going to be there, but no other legislator was there at the time. And I thought, you see people whose loved ones are in a cemetery that they're going to visit, and the grass isn't there, mud is running, there's no irrigation. It doesn't look anything like you would have thought a military cemetery should look like. I mean, I'm sure there was things that they couldn't do, but we visited, we talked to them, we got to know some of the veterans and their spouses, and we started, communicating and working with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. And then I asked to be put on the Military Affairs Committee, appointed by Destin Hall. Actually, Tim Moore appointed me to that, and then Destin Hall reappointed me again. So I was able, after my first term, to get $300,000 in grants to come into that cemetery. And the cemetery belongs to the state. This is a state facility where, we are responsible, and we just wanted to see things change. We listened to the families, and we were able to get some of those things done.
Was that for the local militaries? Okay.
It's Sandhill Cemetery. It's out in Spring Lake.
Okay.
And everybody, it's kind of interesting when all of a sudden you're the cemetery lady. But right. I will tell you that it has been.
I don't want to be the cemetery lady for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, if you can make it a peaceful, wonderful place to visit for families, it's okay. And then we started working on the nursing home when they closed it, and it was over there at the Veterans Hospital on Ramsey Street. And we are working diligently to get that reestablished, reopened, and there are plans, that we have all been listening to, and hopefully in this next year they'll get that back open.
Yep. I will say that I like to hear that my representative heard that there was an issue, and rather than just pass it off to whoever's district it in, she went there and she listened. and then she got herself appointed on the board so she could make a difference. That's pretty impressive. I wish all of our representatives were as awesome as you are.
I mean, we're paying them so much. I don't know why they don't do more work. I mean,
Oh
that
my
whole
gosh, are you
$12,000 a year we pay these guys,
I think they spend that in gas.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that would cover the car payment.
It doesn't. No, the car. Yeah, I already buried one car. So.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. It just blew up. The transmission went, but and it was fairly new when I started. But you don't do this for money. I don't know. Washington must be a different kind of place, but the people that are in Raleigh are there because they care about the state. They care about their communities, and we all feel like we're in this together. And let's roll up our sleeves and do the very best we can with the responsibility we're given.
So what other, are you on any committees? I mean, when you go up there, like what does your week look like up there?
Well, I am on more committees than some. And that's because I like Laura said, how many people like to go to committee meetings? Well, I like it. You two go to meetings. I go to find out what's going on. And that's, if you're not attending, sometimes you're just not going to read all the minutes from every meeting. But I'm on the Military Affairs Committee, but I'm vice chairman of education. I'm also on higher learning. I'm on finance. So I'm doing a lot with budgets and for, learning a lot about the whole state. And I'm also the chairman of pensions and retirements and several others. And I will tell you that the one thing that you do end up is being on joint committees, and then you are on select committees. And my two select committees now. What
does all that mean?
Select committee is when you're appointed by the chair or the Destin Hall, who is the Speaker of the House. And he has committees he forms, and then he picks a select committee. Right now I'm on the one that's for involuntary commitment and public safety. And we've had 3 meetings, and that is stemmed from Elena's law, which is in force now. And of course there's things that are going to have to be always when a new law comes.
And Irina was the girl that was stabbed to death
in Charlotte on the train. And there were many, several changes made to laws that, and rules that had to do with magistrates and judges and courts. So we did a lot of work on that, and I got to be a part of that. And then this committee, the select committee, is looking at the mental health issues that are surrounding some of the murders that we have seen take place or crimes, and looking at things in public safety that can be improved on. And we'll be taking our recommendations back to the speaker, and then he will be deciding with caucus what, and his staff as well, of what things that we need to bring before the entire General Assembly.
Okay. Wow.
And then the other one is that makes everybody cringe, but we should mention it, is the fact that when people get to be between 65 and 75 and they're still paying property taxes and their primary residence, it goes to tell you that you never own your own home.
Right.
That's true.
And and I put in a bill this year that was about if you reach 75, and then you wouldn't have to pay any the property taxes on your primary residence. And of course, that, there were several bills, just not mine, and none of them got through.
Right.
None of them even made it to the floor. But so now we have a select committee that's going to go and look at all of this and see, and especially with all the property increases and taxes this last go round.
If not no taxes, then lock it in when you turn 65, and it can't be raised again until your property is handed off.
No, it's actually the bills that are coming up are saying once you reach 65 and you've paid, or 70, actually I had 75, and that you would not pay on your primary.
Right.
See, that's where I feel like it gets really gray really quick. Is does it go for the spouse? Does it go for
no?
You have all kinds of. There's got to be many levels of gray.
There is,
that.
and it didn't go anywhere. But at some point, we have got to look at people not losing their homes because they're no longer working. They have no income. They are living on Social Security, and there are some areas that if you if you have a house that's $45,000 in value, you only pay X number. Well, when you're only getting $1,500 a month in Social Security, that isn't real helpful.
That's funny because I just looked at that today. No, yesterday, last night, we got our property tax bill and our insurance bill, and I added it up. And if our house was paid off right now, we would still have to pay, just in property tax and insurance, $850 a month.
That's it?
If you're on a fixed income, that's a lot of money. I mean,
and then
if I don't make any money, it's called a nonprofit. So
okay, and it's going to go up and up and up, and it's like, I mean, when we started out, you're thinking $850
so this is where the
a month,
capitalistic, greedy little realtor comes in mind. Look, the valuations went up because the market was better. That's it. And the problem is with our 8-year valuation cycle, it started out with the COVID years, or the COVID years were in there, so it artificially drove everything up. And I agree, it is horrible to have somebody that's been in their home for 30 years be at risk of losing it. But their house is worth more now. That's what the valuation
I understand
tracks.
that. And if you're getting ready to sell your house, that's fine. But when we bought our house, our property tax, this 20 some odd years ago, our property tax per year was $1,200 and some odd dollars.
Right.
And our insurance was a little bit less than that. Now we're paying almost $10,000 a year in property tax and insurance.
Well, we just finished 8 years of Democratic rule in the governor's office. So, I mean, we're on to another 4. And I mean, look, you keep voting the same people in that regard.
We had the supermajority, didn't we?
Not for all of it.
But you know what? The thing that with this is nobody's unreasonable about looking at this. We're just looking at what things could be done. And it's not always to help. And help is to where can you find a place that everybody shares in this burden, not just property owners. And I think that's something that's palatable. And I think you'll be surprised at some of the things that are going to come up. So maybe we can talk about that when our meetings are fine. We've just had 2 meetings on this, and we're just listening right now to see. And then, it takes a long time.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of flavors of solution. It's just got to pick one that's, that, like you said, is the most palatable.
Right. And it doesn't affect, we know about commissioners and how they pay for their everything with property taxes. And maybe there's some other way we could work together and get this done, and that elderly folks would not be put out of their home. And that isn't happening as I don't know how often it happens. We'll be finding out.
Was there a push like this previously before? Because I know this valuation for Cumberland County was one of the most violent valuations ever, because I mean the average property residential went up at like 81% value, which is huge. Commercial property only went up 27%. So is this something maybe is just a sign of our time in 2026, or have we seen a push to reduce this and make concessions for the elderly beforehand? Do you recall anything?
I think this has been discussed for years because elderly folks didn't feel like they owned their home. Yeah. And a lot of people felt like, well, I never owned my home.
I don't own my own home either.
Yeah. And you
never will.
That's wrong. It just, at some point you should own your own home and not have to worry about losing it and you can stay there when you're older. And you look at all things that I'm sure realtors are concerned about. Okay. Like you die and your children get the home. Well, it resets.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, and it's not like from 75. If you're lucky and you do the 75 to 95, you've lucked out. But usually that's not the case. So I think it'll be and I don't know that anything will come of it, but the committee is one that the speaker, and there were several bills that were put in. Has anybody
proposed anything sincerely extreme, like Florida? Governor DeSantis was talking about abolishing property tax. I mean, has anybody proposed anything that extreme?
No, not yet anyway. And I don't see that coming.
Well, I don't know.
I would love a usage tax.
Yeah.
The more you spend, the more you pay.
Yeah. Well, and see, they say that affects the lower income folks heavier than the higher income folks.
How is that?
That's what they say. I don't know. I'm
Who are
just
they?
repeating.
And how do we know what they say?
Them.
We don't even know who they are.
It's the amorphous them.
I heard something about groceries too. Something about taxes on groceries.
Well, I haven't really been involved in that, and there is, food tax. That just kind of seems, to me personally, when we didn't do away with the food tax after it had been there for years, and you may remember it wasn't there, and all of a sudden we're taxing food. That goes way back, but I think that when you get your grocery bills and you pay, $10 of it is taxes, you're going, wow. And you don't have 2 bags of groceries. There's something going on there, but we have not been discussing that yet. And I don't know if we will. So,
okay. So you're involved in the select committee on that.
Yes.
Okay.
2 of them.
And you're the vice chair of education, which seems like that's in your wheelhouse. As being
it is
a former
after
school board member. Yeah. What do you want to continue working on?
I'm on the healthcare committee.
Okay.
Also, and being a registered nurse, I keep my license because my church does missionary work. And up until COVID, I went every year to somewhere setting up clinics. Sometimes I stayed 2 weeks. Sometimes I'd stay a month.
What was your favorite assignment?
I think my favorite really was the Ukraine.
Okay.
And we stayed in a old Russian barracks and from World War II, and it was they had a sort of a hospital clinic area, and we just embellished everything. Everything we could do to make it attractive and get people to come. Even the doctors wanted the nurses to examine them. And if usually we'll have a doctor, or we'll have a physician's assistant, or somebody that comes, and all of us are, there. If we have 5 nurses and a doctor, or 5 nurses and a PA, we're lucky. And we really get to do some really good things. And it's really not about healthcare. It's really about saving souls and bringing people into the church. So it's a really good thing to do.
Excellent.
Seems like she serves her community a lot.
That's what I'm getting. I get it. So, let's see. How do I want to put this? So you've been up there for how many terms now?
3 terms. I'm in my 3rd term.
You're running to be elected to your 4th.
That's right.
You've gained seniority with some of these positions, right?
I mean, have.
It's not just like you're up there and they keep putting you in the same broom closet every year.
No.
Did you get a bigger office?
I
along the way?
did.
Did you?
I have a big office compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest, but it's nice.
Not throwing shade, but I think you have a larger office than our state senator.
Almost. Actually, he's got an outer office.
No. I'm thinking the other part of the delegation.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's got a little office.
It's smaller, but but she's got a window. But I don't need a window. My husband put a TV in there with a window, so it's good. But but you're not in that office that long.
Yeah.
I bet I don't spend in a day. If I spend 30 minutes in my office, it's a miracle. Just answering phone calls and taking notes and getting ready for the next meeting. And it's constant. There's no dragging your feet when you're in Raleigh. You're busy. And I will tell you, the pensions and retirement chairmanship is probably, first of all, freshmen don't get chairmanships, but I got to be vice chairman of 3 committees my freshman year. And then I got a chairmanship my next term. So that is also somewhat unique. And I kept thinking, are they doing this because I'm a woman? And I decided, nope, they did that because they figured out I would show up and do the work. Yeah. And I like working. And I like doing good things for others. That is part of my upbringing as a military brat. And our county has a lot of needs. We average 300 emails a day, probably 20 plus phone calls. You get there at like 7 in the morning to 7:30, and you don't get back home to sometimes 11 o'clock at night. And then sometimes you have meetings at midnight. So you can
what
do
are people
2
like
days.
on the west end of the state or the east end? Is there like a cheap apartment complex that these guys can maybe stay overnight, or are
They get a
driving?
stipend.
Do they?
Yeah. And
Okay.
they, not enough, as far as I'm concerned, to pay for what they need.
Yeah,
It's like $104
So there's
a day.
something else for those guys for a certain.
Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered, like, that's because I know you come home a lot.
Oh yeah, I've never stayed in Raleigh.
You never stay there.
No,
So
never. Not even if we had at
yeah.
midnight, I come home.
I got you.
So
Okay.
no.
So I want to make the case because Laura, we're overdue for a naughty list of people who we've invited and nobody even bothered to say hello or how do you do.
I love that when you're running for office and you don't even have the courtesy to respond that you're going to be there, can't be there, don't want to be there.
Well, and this is a primary, so Diane, you have a primary opponent, but I'm just going to let you be off microphone for just a minute. But, nobody knows who the hell this guy is. Nobody knows what he stands for or where he came from, except he's running on a anybody but Diane campaign. There's no merit to the campaign. And, frankly, it's a distraction that nobody asked for. And, whatever the motivation is of this guy to run, he certainly doesn't have the courage to show up and let his face be seen. So
did he even respond?
No.
Great.
No. He didn't. Some other opponents, I know Senator McGinnis' opponent did not even respond.
And that's fun. That's funny because at the FRWC, we had invited every single candidate out to speak to us last month. And do you know the only 2 candidates that didn't even say boo to us was her opponent and Tom McGinnis's opponent. They didn't say yes, they were coming. No, they weren't coming. Sorry, we couldn't come. Nothing. So I understand. While I'm neutral because of my position, I will say that the number one thing that you have to do is show up. And I will say, Diane, if you know her, she shows up everywhere. And I hope I have a third of her energy next week because I feel old when I'm next to her.
I have to say that for our entire Raleigh delegation. I mean, look, Diane, it's you and you have Charles Smith in the House.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So he's a Democrat, but you guys show up. We got Mike Colvin.
Yes.
And then Francis.
Jackson.
Okay. So you're the only Republican in the House, right?
I am.
And then for our delegation.
And then
we have State Senator Applewhite and McInnes.
Right.
And, honestly, I think a lot of y'all show. I mean, you guys do the work.
Well, and
just because you guys are Democrats, I still give you credit. You show up. I'll give you that.
And, the delegation has worked well together and they elected me chairman. What an honor.
Yeah.
They put the trust in me to do the work, and I've kept us where we need to be most of the time. And you don't have to do it, but the first before a short session or a long session, and you have a lot of people that want to tell you their needs, and so we all go and we listen, and we haven't turned down anyone. And once you get elected, it's not my district, it's not any of their districts. It's everybody's district. All of us. We're here as a big community, and you have to, in order to get something done, you've got to learn how to work the General Assembly, because, just because you're working with fellow Republicans doesn't mean they're going to support you. You have to go and get their support. You have to earn their trust. You have to also sometimes hold your nose and say, well, this is what I really need for my community. And they're going to tell you, there's a lot of things that
it's called negotiations.
It's big negotiations.
And I have said, so some people have asked me, like, who should they vote for in the commission, which is tough because it's a primary. So if you're a Democrat, you're going to pull a completely different ballot than I am. But if they ask for advice, one of the things I've said is you want an elected official. You don't want an activist. And some of the people running on both tickets are simply advocates there to just show their rear end or have their name in the paper without understanding that there's work to be done. You got to reach across the aisle and talk to people that, may not be in your own party. We, Chairman Deviere of the commissioners, there's actually one of the other podcasts termed it being deviered.
Yeah.
when the governor put all that money in to run Val Applewhite against him, simply because he pissed the governor off by going along with y'all.
He did, and it was all about community.
Yeah, he stuck up for us,
and all of us were on the same sheet of music. And
well, that'll teach you. You toe the party line. That's the whole point. If you don't toe the party line when you're a Democrat, you're out. Period.
And I brought that up with
the Republicans. We can have a difference of opinion,
did I bring that up
and that's
with?
Okay.
About being independent.
Sometimes.
Was it
not always?
Janine or was it Francis?
I can't remember which. I don't think
it was a Democrat.
Probably
and I'm like, look,
Francis,
when you go up there, as much as you say, I'm my own person, I'm this, I'm that, I wasn't trying to insult. I'm just saying you still have a caucus to talk to. So
the caucus meets and it's private. And things are supposed to stay not always do they stay, but most of the time they stay inside the room. And, you all have to sit. And there are 72 of us, I think, 71 maybe, that we sit in our room and we discuss and we share ideas and we let people know what our communities are needing. Or if it's a really controversial bill and, that we try to work through it because you can't amend those. And to where it can be voted on and everybody has a good feeling about it, and nobody's compromising their personal beliefs, and that that we're all able to be on the same sheet of music. It's an art form, but this is not a place to be. It's a job. It's a place where you really dedicate your life to serving others. And the needs of your community, you need to know about them. You can't be distracted with work and have to leave because you've got to be there. You can't be distracted with a lot of things. And that's one of the things that is a positive for me. I'm, retired, did my corporate time, did my nursing, and now I've been able to serve in Raleigh. And I want to go back to Raleigh and do some more good things, especially in the healthcare field. I believe that medicine has some gloomy days ahead if we don't work hard to fix some of the issues. And it's not just about insurance and money. It's about how many. I mean, there's so many rules and regs and who practices, who doesn't practice. How many hospitals can you have? What about how many MRI machines can you have? I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. And one of my pet bills that I had this past year was with Alzheimer's Association wanting to have a bill for biomarkers. And that way, if your family has had cancer or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, or, that you could have some blood work done and it's maybe some other little, biopsies, other kind for different diseases, but whatever was needed, that the insurance companies would add that to their pay list. And how that,
so as a preventive,
right, to where you can, if you in the long run, if you can identify the diseases you might be faced with, and you can go into a preventative or lifestyle changes, or that you just need to be seen by your physician to keep an eye on you. If you can do any of the preventative stuff, you're going to save money.
Especially if we can prevent it. See, I went to the doctor recently and I asked him, because he's mentioned he had a colleague that just showed up with stage 3 cancer and he was gone within, and I said, well, how do we know, or when do we know to go look for? And he says, sometimes with certain cancers, you just never know. There are no precursor signs, but at least if there are diseases that it can be,
that's right,
that our insurance companies will at least be willing to pay that.
And the Cancer Society came and asked and sponsored my bill. Got it through the House. It's over in the Senate. Haven't given up on it, but want to see that bill through. And I have several others that are out there. We've been on 38 bills this session. 6 of those I primed myself. So they were bills that I introduced. You're lucky. And my first session, people don't realize, but I got a compact for counselors and worked with the Department of Defense to where if you were a counselor and your husband got stationed elsewhere, that you could practice as long as you met. The state had its compact. It
Sure.
reached the agreement with North Carolina if that's where you were licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could continue to practice, and your patients could, still do telemed or get you to.
So basically, that make it a little more portable for the spouse to not have to be relegated to staying at
and
home.
out of work for
Right.
6 months
Okay.
and that sort of thing. And since then, there have been several compacts, and it's just become a real conduit to be able to get more of a universal treatments, and practices for professionals. So we're working hard at this new found ideas of being able to get people seen and treated.
And honestly, I mean, look, the things that you're doing, you didn't just turn up on day one without knowing anything. And, you had the acumen from being a commissioner and being on the school board.
That's what I was going to say. She's serving for many years.
And that is bench strength and knowledge you cannot buy. I want to bring attention to Mr. Mosley here, Christian. He says they're doing the same thing to Representative Carla Cunningham, too. Carla Cunningham is the Democrat lady over by Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, that voted
yes, she has voted with us several
voted
times.
With you guys. And
she's also a nurse.
Is she?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I know her well.
Did she get in trouble for talking about them or bringing something against their sheriff or something?
I'm not sure about that.
I think that's what it was. Like she got in hot water for that. And now the Democrats are primarying her too. Which is just, again, she stood up for what she believed and for her community. And then her reward from the party is primary.
You're out.
Yeah.
Yep, you're out. Yeah. But I will tell you, for the most part here locally, I am in good standing with Republicans. Mm-hmm. I've been working very hard for conservative values for as long as I can remember. But when things, as you see them, you know that something is just the right thing to do. Because of either moral values or your Christian values, or because it's just the right thing to do, then you have to do the right thing. For me, I plan to continue to serve as in this seat. I believe in term limits. I hope everybody will go out and vote. We'll do at least another term. And then after that, we'll have to see. Okay. But just because, you don't spend a lifetime, that this is for, everybody should be interested in serving. And I encourage that. And I embrace it. And I want to help somebody when it's my time to have that time to just say that, I've served my time. I want to be helping others who want to be able to get elected. So I have a lot of plans coming later, and we'll maybe talk about those sometime.
I want to give to your campaign, I say this every show when we have a candidate. Not everybody has money to donate, but if they did want to donate, where would they go?
Well, they could look up on our campaign page, which is Diane Wheatley for House 43. You can look up you can make a check out to Diane Wheatley House 43. Just put all your information on it, like that we need, name, phone number, address, that sort of thing. And then you can just stick it in the mail to my home address, because that's the one I used. You can call the Board of Elections and get all that if you can't remember. But it's quite easy.
Not for those people that don't have money. You will still take their time.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll be as respectful of that as, we won't ask anybody to overburden themselves, but we do appreciate it when people volunteer. It's the greatest form of flattery when somebody will work for you to get elected.
Absolutely.
To serve their community, all of our community.
And if you look at her service for the many, many, many years, and if you want to continue getting the great benefits of Diane Wheatley, that's the least anybody can do. Spend 2 hours or 4 hours at the polls, helping hand out papers, just talking to people, spreading the word, getting your friends to go out and vote, whatever you need to do. But Diane Wheatley not only needs your money, but she does need your time. So please, please, please.
And your vote. And your vote. Please.
Oh,
most importantly,
yes.
we need your vote.
Yep.
So
get a sign put in your yard, volunteer at the polls, whatever you can do to help Diane Wheatley.
Absolutely. And the bell tolls.
I was going to say, I hear music.
Yes, we do.
I do too.
So Well, that's about it for the Carolina Cabinet this evening. I want to thank my dedicated on-air co-host, Mrs. Laura Musler.
Thank you, thank you.
And thank you for the birthday cake this morning.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm still very flattered.
You're my favorite friend named Peter Pappas.
Thank you so much.
Happy
That's
birthday.
awesome. And Diane, it's always a pleasure. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to maybe participate for any of our Republican candidates, reach out to me and we'll be able to get you set up. So with that, we're the Cabinet. We'll see you on Wednesday afternoon.